Welcome back, Rugby Hub viewers. As promised, we finally deliver, and we have a very special guest here today, Jacques Vermeulen, Exeter Chiefs flanker. No, Goran, it's Jacques Vermeulen.
It's the wish version of Vermeulen's.
But you told me you were going to get Vermeulen on the pod.
Yeah, Jacques Vermeulen, Goran. It's the 7th flanker for Exeter. He's an excellent player, and unfortunately sidelined at the moment, so you won't be featuring. Goran, please show some respect here. You won't be featuring this weekend against the Stormers. I don't know if that is something to be happy about. Obviously, he grew up in the Western Cape. He knows what it's like to play in the hoop jerseys. But Goran, please give us a little bit of introduction on Jacques. I hope you've got the stats there of Jacques and not Dwayne.
Of course I do. Of course, Jacques, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for joining. Well, we all know you were born in Paul and went to Paul Gymnasium, where you had a very successful first team rugby performances over the years. You then went on to the IRB Junior World Championship, where you actually also played in the finals, and you were there runners up against England. Then Western Province under 21s, moved on to the Sharks, where he performed so well that he caught the attention of Exeter, and in 2019 he moved to the Exeter Chiefs club, playing his first game, the Premiership Rugby, against Leicester, where he scored obviously he scored his debut try on his debut game in the first quarter of the game. So a good 56 appearances for Exeter Chiefs with a total of 20 tries and 100 points. He obviously also helped the Chiefs to a European Champions title in 2020, and actually also the Premiership title in the 2019-2020. Jacques, is there some more stats? Because this feels like we just bragged for you. Is there something else that you can tell us about yourself?
How's it, guys? Yeah, no, I think you've guys covered everything. By this rate, I'll maybe send this interview into the Premiership commentators, because I think you could have a nice future at this rate.
I think we covered more than they cover normally during a whole game in just 4 minutes. But yeah, no, also Jacques, from our side, congratulations. I think you've had some big news in your personal life on becoming a father soon. So congratulations on that.
Big news.
Yeah, very big news.
Can't wait to have sleepless nights. But yeah, obviously it's very exciting for me and my partner. It was a bit unexpected, but you know, it's part of
congratulations.
Life.
It's part of life. No, well, Jacques, let's get straight to it. So we're going to discuss here today with you, first of all, obviously just a couple of quick hub questions for you, and then we'll focus obviously on the game of this weekend, where Exeter is hosting obviously the Stormers. Huge game. But first off, let's just get a couple of interesting questions out of the way. Some of our fans asked us to ask you. So first of all, we would like to ask you, who, in your entire rugby career, who was your favorite roommate that you've shared a room with on tour?
So look, I've been on quite a few tours in my life before. I must say, obviously in England it's a bit different, because like you've got the teams here work like you get your own room, like when you go play away. So it's quite nice. Like if you play away game, you get your own room, so you've got like more personal space and you get a bit more focus for games. But I must say, in Super Rugby, I had a few tours with the Sharks. Obviously, the tours down under to Australia. I've got a mate called Jean-Luc Dupré.
What a legend.
We've roomed a few tours together. I must say, yeah, he's definitely my favorite roommate.
Second to you being your own favorite roommate when you're touring alone in the UK.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
You know? My PlayStation is actually in the UK. My PlayStation is my favorite roommate. Like he goes all the way with me. But yeah, no, definitely Jean-Luc Dupré. What a guy. Yeah, till this date we're still very good mates. So yeah, no, definitely Jean-Luc.
Excellent.
Well,
and
one day we'll get Jean-Luc on here and let's see if he says it's you as well.
let's hope so. Yeah, I mean, then the next one was also an interesting one. You know, your toughest opponent, meaning the toughest team that you've ever played, and then also the toughest player after that. So, if you can share with us the toughest team you've ever faced, and then also the guy that you've gone up against where you were really like, this guy is hard as nails.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams like we've played like in a few finals and stuff like that before, and I think obviously finals is probably your hardest game because you're defending with your life, like you know what's at stake or what. Yeah, so definitely I would say I've played a quarterfinal against the Crusaders in Christchurch before. Geez, that day they had like a New Zealand back row, I think. A guy like Kieran Reid was playing in that game. Then like I've played a few games now in England, which was quite tough. Yeah, I think Racing Metro had a few guys. Racing Metro in the 2020 final, really tough team to play against. But then there's a team in England called Saracens. It's a really tough team to play against. Like if you're not on it on the day, they can literally run in between 5 and 10 tries easily. And I think they just have such great talent in their team. So I must say my toughest team I've played against is probably Saracens. Then what is the lock? What's the Skelton that plays for
Will Skelton?
Will Skelton.
Gracious.
Definitely Will Skelton. I remember playing against Sarries in my first season, my first game literally against Sarries. Their locks were, I think it was a Toje and him. And
it's enormous.
Mate, I carried in between him and one of the Vinipolo brothers. And I think they folded me in half. Like when I got out of that tackle, I was like, geez, that's not Super Rugby anymore. This is now with the big boys. Like, I must say, Will Skelton is
a piece of meat. Let's be 100% honest. That guy is enormous.
Yeah, I know. I must say, the guy that's tackled me the hardest is definitely him. And then Tunalapi Tupo, the prop from the Reds.
Yeah.
Definitely got run over by him once in a game against the
Reds. That guy
can
kickstart a Boeing. I mean, he's got a pair of tree trunks for legs.
Mate, I reckon he should send me his calf program because I need some of that.
So just to pause there for a second, you're not really scared of any of the South African boys running onto you at full speed?
No, I've played enough against them, Like,
and you know them off the field.
Yeah, I know. The thing is just like, I think obviously South African boys we are like known for physicality and stuff like that, but like, when you've played enough in the South African League, mate, by now you know how to tackle those boys and like how to handle them. Like I must say, like playing against the De Priya brothers, playing like a guy like Jasper Wiese and all of that, like, by now you can't go high on them, like tackle them high or low. And you just know like you're going to lose that battle. So by now you have to be smart and stuff like that. But no, definitely those two guys, hardest guys I've played against.
Yeah. Excellent. I can really relate to you also, Jacques, since I've come from South Africa and started playing the 5th division rugby in Belgium. I can feel the physicality is, Anyways.
It's not the same.
That's good. I mean, I have to say
this now, mate. Physical 12.
I've been playing in the third division here in Vienna as well, and I have to say I went to one training and I pulled a hamstring. It's really brutal what these foreign leagues do to you, especially when you're used to the South African conditions. But the next question, I don't really have to.
You should stay with hockey, mate. Like,
hockey, yes, thank you.
Leave the rugby for the big boys.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to hit the gym and get myself in contention for, playing for the Austrian Eagles, getting myself an Austrian jersey. Chances aren't bad, but let's get to the next question. I think I'm going to skip this one because it was the softest player you've ever played against, but clearly it's going to be a South African one. So I think it might be better to just ask you, what is the stadium you've played at? And don't say Sandy Park, that has the biggest vibe that you've ever played at.
No, but you know Sandy Park's vibe is before.
It is nice. It is nice, definitely. But outside of Sandy Park.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously, there's a few like loads of stadiums in the Premiership is quite vocal, if I can say that.
Yeah.
But I must say, Kingsholm, Gloucester, they've got like this stand called the Shed. Mate, the amount of abuse you get from that stand is, I've never seen something like that before. You know, in Cape Town, when you said that on the, like, you've guys been at Newlands when Newlands were new, like still Newlands.
The Donny Craven, Jan Picard stadiums.
You know, when you, like, even if the other teams guys come warm up, people will say something or whatever, or you're sitting on the bench for the other team, you know, there in Cape Town, the people always give you some grief. Like, but mate, the stuff I've heard they're saying to people out of that stand is just something else. And just the vibe, like, they fully back their team. It's just behind them, and it's always fully packed when we play there. I must say Kingsholm is one of them. And then obviously played a game at Twickenham. Like, Twickenham is obviously a big stadium, so when there's a lot of people, it's full and it's vibey and stuff like that. I must say Kingsholm Stadium, Gloucester Rugby, it's one of the better ones.
All right. Wow. Okay, so outside of Sandy Park. And then your favorite go-to meal after a big game, and I think we know this one, but still, we would like to confirm your favorite go-to meal after a big game of rugby, and what drink do you have along with that meal?
It's difficult because, like, in South Africa, it would have been maybe hopefully a braai and a brandy, a nice KWV brandy. But now it's a bit different. Like, sometimes Gabriel will know, he's been here for a few games. Well, for a game. It's normally, hopefully, a few boys over and have a braai, braai flays and stuff like that, and a few brandies. But nowadays, you know, you have to get down to 5 guys. So you guys probably have a 5 guys there in where you guys
are? Vienna and Belgium. I don't know, in Belgium they only eat fries, but in Vienna we have a 5 guys.
We'll order in some 5 guys, me and my housemate Janus Kirsten, and then hopefully have a few beers or have a few brandy and cokes. I think that just numbs the pain the best of the game.
Well said.
That's excellent. No, that is well said. But
Jacques, if we can move on to to the European Championship. I mean, last week was an absolute massive game in the round of 16, where Exeter edged out Montpellier in a thriller, where it went to extra time and Exeter scored right at the death, and then won by try count. Tell us how that experience was on the side of the field now because of your injury.
Yeah, I know. As you two, like, I see you two are doing like a bit bad on the hair, like the hairline. Like, I think after last weekend's game, I think I've lost. I've gained a few grey hairs and maybe lost a bit as well. So, no, mate. Like, it was. I was getting upset, and was getting angry, and then obviously nervous at the same time. So, it was not good because, like, you're watching a game where you're playing with 15 guys against 14 for about 50 minutes of the game, or 60 minutes of the game, and then can't score a try and not playing the right way to how to play when another team has got a man down. We've done it so many times before. Yeah, I know. The emotions was running high, but
I mean, at the end of the day, you guys pulled it through, and this weekend you've got a huge game coming up against the Stormers. I mean, you're playing at the famous Sandy Park, but I think Baxter has already played a bit of mind games, saying, you know, they're going into this game as underdogs, knowing that you guys have lost against Harlequins a couple of weeks ago, and the Stormers truly manhandled Harlequins. I mean, Harlequins scored 3 tries towards the end of that game. I think the scoreline doesn't really do the Stormers any justice because they were really dominating that game. What would you say would be the mentality going into this game this weekend? It's a big game. Do you actually think Exeter have, you know, obviously it's home game, but do you think they have it in them to knock the Stormers out?
Look, I think knockout rugby, quarterfinals, I think any team can win it on the day. If you're good on the day, make the right choices, take your points, play in the right areas. I think any team knows if you play in the right areas and stuff like that, you'll win the game. But I think obviously the mentality going into this week, we've obviously played, well, they played on a Saturday, we played on the Sunday. They've got an extra day of recovery.
Yeah.
There's loads of that. We played a 100-minute game.
Yeah.
It's all of that factors that goes into this week.
Yeah.
I think we can recharge the batteries the best going into this week. Just focus on recovery, knowing what you want to do in the game coming, say tactical wise, and stuff like that. I think that team will come out as the winner on the day. But I just think, like, look, the Chiefs have been in big games before. We've played in 2-3 quarterfinals in the last 3 years, say every year after Champions Cup. So we know what to do. I think with a team like the Stormers, like obviously now with them being in the Heineken Cup with the South African teams, it's obviously a different kind of team. Because like with the Chiefs in the Premiership, we see ourselves as a team that can dominate other teams physically. And I think obviously with the Stormers being a South African team, they're going to be like, listen, this is an English team. We're going to dominate them physically. That's what we're going to do on the day. So, I think it's a team that fronts up on the day. The forward pack that can dominate on the day. I reckon that team is going to be the team that win.
Yeah. What's the conditions like, Jacques, for this weekend? Or what does it look like now?
Look, I'm hoping it's fucking pissing down with rain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. I just think like Sandy Park, teams hate coming to Sandy Park. Like they know it's going to be shit for them. Like the crowd don't like them. The crowd don't like them. It's windy. It's rainy most of the time. But I've checked the weather. It looks like it's going to be 15 degrees, sunny, lovely weather. So
it sounds like Cape Town weather. It sounds like Cape Town weather.
That's the problem at the moment. I hope some rain is around. I don't know, some miracle happens with some rain. But whatever weather will come, like the boys will be ready.
All right. Yeah, I mean, no, lovely to hear it from you, Jacques. I mean, like you said, it's knockout rugby. The team who wants it most will get it probably. You need to play in the right areas. So I guess obviously we don't really need to ask you for a prediction on that game. You're probably going to back your boys, or are you going to back your nation here?
No, I'm definitely look. I'm backing the people that pays my salary.
That pays your salary.
Well said. Well said. Sorry for putting you on the spot like that, but
no, I'm 100% backing the Chiefs boys. Been a really good week in camp. The boys are ready. You can see it, and they're obviously excited. I think loads of them are obviously nervous because there's loads of young boys playing in their first quarterfinal of a Champions Cup. We've got two boys, obviously Welsh internationals, in that Chris Duinza and Dr. Jenkins. They're only 20 years old. So for those boys playing in a Champions Cup quarterfinal, what an achievement. But now it's obviously it's what an achievement. But now it's just for them to kick on and actually dominating the game. But it's a game to look forward to this weekend. But I reckon it's going to be a really close game. I'm not going to be surprised if it goes into extra time again.
Agree.
I reckon.
Okay, lovely. I mean, Goran, what's your prediction there for this weekend? Don't be scared of Jacques now. It's a virtual call, so you can say whatever you want.
Well, I mean, it's nice, but I think our viewers should also take Jacques' prediction with a pinch of salt, because I mean he doesn't have a rugby channel with 150 subscribers, so
it's 400 by now.
Dominate.
Sorry.
The Stormers Belgium dominated Boisai in the 23rd.
No, I knew this was going to be a mistake. All right. Well, no, I think it's going to be a tough one, but the Stormers. I'm going to go head-to-head with Jacques, not physically, but on the prediction. I'll go with the Stormers.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Stormers. I mean, I don't want to bring the high school topic up here because I think, that is another half an hour conversation.
You're not welcome in Exeter.
No, so and then for the other games, Jog, just a quick prediction from your side. I mean, the other games we have is Leinster hosting Leicester. What do you think will happen there?
I think
in Dublin.
I think that's going to be. Look, Leicester, what a team! Like I played them in a Champions Cup. It's also a quarterfinal. Mate, what a tough team to play against. I reckon Leinster in that game. Look, Leicester, if Jasper Wiese starts, has a very dominant game. 100 ball out on. Like if Leicester can dominate that pack and put a backline on the front foot, mate, they've got all the chance in the world. But on a good day, you have to be really good on the day to beat a good Leinster side.
Yeah, agree.
I mean, if the Blue Bulls could have done it last year in the URC, never say never. I mean, Leicester is an excellent team as well. Then another huge game, Toulouse playing the Sharks. The Sharks, your old club, of course. Sharks had a pretty impressive performance against Munster last weekend. What would you say? I mean, that is in Toulouse. I was there actually last weekend. It's really tough to play in France. Honestly, it's really tough because you have the fans, you've got the camera team, you've got everyone. As soon as there's a small little minor mistake, it's just chaos.
Yeah, I think, look, the amount of players, the caliber of players that Toulouse have in their team, only one guy like Dupont, the game runs basically around him. And I think also they've got a really dominant back. I think the Sharks needs to have a really good game. They'll have guys like, I don't know, is Eben it's a bit available or not?
No,
we'll have to wait and see.
Is out.
I see. So. They'll have to have guys like Lucanio and guys like that standing up in the game and have that definitely has to dominate them. And I just can't see it happening against that Toulouse team. So I'll go Toulouse.
Yeah,
all right.
Cool.
Goran, by the way, what was your prediction on that previous game, and then also on this one? So Leinster.
I agree. I agree with Jacques. It's going to be Leinster, and in this game, I'm going to also back Toulouse.
Okay, you guys are
to agree.
Funny boys. I'm going to actually go with Leicester purely because they have excellent South African players. And I think, it's been done to Leinster at home before. They were also not that convincing in the beginning of that game last week. And then I'm going to go for the Sharks and back the Bokke once again. I mean, I think that one probably I'll be wrong, but anyways. And then obviously Exeter Stormers we've already just touched on. We have a clear take on that one. And the last game for the weekend is actually also a huge one on Sunday afternoon. La Rochelle versus Saracens. We've heard earlier Jacques mention Saracens, but this is not a home game for Saracens, but rather a away game. And we know La Rochelle has also produced some magic. Yeah.
Oh, geez, La Rochelle. I've played them in my first season here. My first ever Championship Cup game was against La Rochelle away in La Rochelle. Geez, the vibe there was amazing and stuff like that. And obviously, what a team. Like, we've got two guys, I think, what is it, Dylan Leitz and
Raymond Roux. Yeah.
I don't know, is Dylan Leitz injured?
I think he is because I haven't seen him in a while starting there.
Yeah, but I think La Rochelle is a great team, but they're very beatable. I think, they're obviously playing Sarries. I think Sarries on the day. It's a difficult one. I almost want to call it draw, but I reckon that's going to be a really close game. I think playing away in a Champions Cup game, obviously home advantage. I'll go on this one. Geez, this is a tough one. I'll go Sarries on the day. I'll have to go Sarries
on the day.
You can hear you're a big Premiership fan, but nowadays. All right, Goran.
I'm going to go against Jacques on this one. I'll go for the boys from La Rochelle.
Okay, I'm going to actually go with Jacques for once in a change. I think Saracens know how to win big matches. But we're going to have to wrap this one up. We're coming towards the end here. Just a very quick one team. Who will win the Heineken Cup, Jacques?
Exeter Chiefs.
Agree. I agree.
I was expecting a bit of honesty there from you, but okay. So, Goran.
Hey, Jacques, you've got a great career in podcasting one day, if the rugby thing doesn't work out.
Ja, glo julle.
No,
All right,
but
boys.
honestly, thank you so much, Jacques, for joining us.
Thanks, Jacques.
Really appreciate your time. Had a good laugh with you. Goran, thanks as always for your time. And
Thanks, Gabsy.
we'll be back soon.